Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Thanksgiving edition of the Bucks Island Area Fishing Report. We hope you guys had a wonderful Thanksgiving and that you're ready to get out there on the water today and get a little bit of fishing done. Hey, we got Tom, Lee, Gentry, and then filling in for Josh this week again is Tracy Robinson. We'll be right back with what the guys have to say. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, November 25th. Hey, we're joined by Gentry Gordy, straight out of his turkey coma, getting back on the water. Gentry, what's going on at Lake Martin these days?
Well, Dano, we talked about it the last couple of weeks. The water has finally got down to its winter pool. I think they like about 2 or 3 inches from where they're calling, looking at the shoreline app. But that's what we've been waiting on, is for that water to stabilize. Because as soon as it does, those fish, of course they follow the water, but they'll start to venture back up in that little bit shallower water, which is what I look for this time of year. But no matter, how fast it falls this time of year, when that water does stabilize, I pull out my crankbait and start finding them trash piles, 8 to 10 foot of water. And if you can burn a crankbait through those trash piles at Martin, it really gets the largemouth to react to it. But that still may be another week out, but like I said, it'll stabilize. You can still catch a lot of fish, the numbers up there, with your swim baits and your A-rigs and even top water plug. But, it's hard to even find a limit doing that, but you can catch 100 fish. If you want to have fun, get your swim bait. But if you're looking for quality, you're going to have to find them trash piles on a little bit deeper water.
Crankbait, are you talking like flat side, balsa type baits, or is it a little early for that?
I think it's early for that. I'm 5XD, or I still got some of the old Bandit Ledge series that I run through there.
Let's turn our attention to Jordan. That's going to be a little bit of a different animal, I'm sure, but what's going on over there?
Well, luckily, that little bit of rain, time will still tell. It's going to dirty it up a little bit, probably not like we want it this time of year. But the dirtier it gets, that's when I switch over to a brim colored chatterbait. But your spinnerbait is still getting bit. And, we say the river every time, but dragging a ball jig or something down those eddies up that river, especially with that water moving after that rain, it's always going to be a good bite. Just a matter if you can get enough of them.
Gentry, I know you can also run up the river and you can throw jigs on some of those current breaks with the eddies behind the rocks and the swim baits. You can do those through those current breaks. But Gentry, man, as always, brother, we appreciate everything. We're glad you had a great Thanksgiving, and we will talk to you again next week, my friend.
You too, guys. Y'all enjoy.
Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, November 25th. Hey, we just had Thanksgiving. I know we're all sitting there fat, dumb, and happy, full of turkey. And one of those guys that's feeling that way is Lee Pitts, but he's going to get out there and share some fishing information. Lee, what's happening on Neely Henry this week?
I stay that way, man. Yeah, it's Neely's pretty good. It's the fishing's still staying strong there at Neely. Our crappie bite has slowed down just a little bit, but the bass bite's still been good. We had a little bit of rain come in early in the week that's helped out a little bit. Still battling a little bit of winds, but man, things are trying to get back to normal right now. On the crappie end of it, not quite catching the numbers that we were, but the fish are good quality fish right now. Still out there looking at the wood and stumps and things like that on the river channels. So that's just more of a vertical approach to
them. The bass bite, I know you can still move and catch them on a spinnerbait, crankbait, chatterbait, that kind of stuff. But I do know that Ned bite, shaky head bite started to pick up a little bit too. Seems like a lot of smaller keepers are happening right now. Is that what you're hearing?
Yeah, and that's what I guess that's just the nature of the game there. A lot of times when the fish start kind of slowing down a little bit, you can pick up that finesse stuff and catch them. I still like to kind of power fish with that blade and get in there tight with them. May not get as many bites, but you're looking at some more quality. That's not to say you're not going to catch the big ones on a Ned rig and a shaky head. You can stay busy out there catching them and run into some good fish doing that also.
All right, let's turn our attention to Weiss Lake, your home lake. What's going on up there?
Thank goodness our crappie have turned on some. It's been kind of a tough fall for us, but I think everything is getting stable. The little bit of rain that we've had has got some fresh water coming in, and that's helped it too. The same thing, we've still got some docks that you can catch fish on, and some of your bigger creeks, Bay Springs, Yellow Creek, and even upriver. Some of the docks that are on the river channel, you can catch them on it. But majority of them, they're out there with live bait or some of the, the Garland products. That new live roamer has been real good. It's a tight little wobbled it, and you can kind of just vertical drop it down and just shake it over that brush so they can't stand it no more.
What about the bass bite? We know that they were kind of around wood. Is that still going on?
It is, even though we got some water coming in, they're still keeping it, down also. And you're just looking for that wood in that 2-3 foot of water, and then still some of these old rocky points. I know some guys that started to get a little bit of a topwater bite here.
It's about time to get that crappie in the freezer. Reach out to Lee Pitts at Lee Pitts Outdoors. He'll put you on them. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, November 25th. Hey, we're joined by Tracy Robinson again, who's filling in for Josh Herron. After this Thanksgiving, Tracy, I know your stomach's full. You're happy spending time with family, but it's always a good time to think about a little bit of fishing. Let's talk Logan Martin and Lay Lake. What's happening down there?
Last week, we talked a lot about the water coming back up and those fish migrating. That's still kind of the deal going on at Lay right now. And I'm a swim jig guy, so if I can catch them on a swim jig, that's what I'm going to catch them on. So that's kind of what I'm throwing a lot. But when I'm catching some pretty good fish on those, but whenever I run across those really clumpy patches, I am getting out the heavyweight and punching in there and catching some good largemouth. And the spotted fish, spotted bass, there's still a lot of those on the docks and seawalls, like I talked about. Bait that's been most productive for me for the past few weeks on those fish has been the spinner baits. I'll pick up a chatterbait every now and then and throw it around, but the spinner bait's been the more the go-to. I guess just the more the flashing bait, the bait fish that they're following. That's kind of been the deal for me. We did get a little bit of rain, too, so some of the currents kind of kicking up a little bit. It's probably going to turn the fish on a little bit more, probably at least because they'll run more current. But the current fish have been able to be caught, too, but it was 100% had to be whenever they were generating the power. And I still catch some on the chatterbait and the spinnerbait around some of those trees and stuff whenever the water starts to move a little bit. Jig's been my slow down bait. Whenever that happens, I've been picking up the brown jig with the brown zoom chunk on it. The specific color on the chunk was the blue flake pumpkin is what I was using on the back of it, and that zoom's super salty. So that's kind of been the deal for me on Lay. But both Lay and Logan, I've been seeing a lot of crappie being caught too, and all the crappie that I've been seeing being caught have been on the dock. Those really good right now on both the lakes. At Logan, that water has still been falling out there on that winter drawdown deal. Water temperature kind of was dropping a little bit there with some of those cooler temperatures. It kind of flattened out a little bit. Got some cool weather coming that's going to continue to drop it a little more, but those fish are definitely moving up shallow. We're catching them shallow still, and you can catch them in the backs now. Starting to see a lot more activity, a lot more shad in the very backs of the pockets, the creeks, the ditches. Small crankbait's been working really good for me. I've been throwing a DT4, DT6, some of the small square bills, mostly shad colors, throwing a little bit with the yellow and red in it. That kind of, for whatever reason, all fishermen are supposed to throw red in the winter. Spinner baits also at Logan Martin, crankbait on those. Last week I kind of talked about those points right out near the mouth, but they're migrated on back a little bit further now. They're not just completely piled up in the backs, but they're definitely moved on past those first points that you're running into in those creeks and ditches and stuff. And still catching them on topwater too. Logan Martin, I think you can do that year round on those seawalls, but buzz baits, walking baits. I've been fishing a little she dog, a couple other different walking baits, but still catching some of those topwater fish as well.
Tracy, brother, we appreciate everything. Thanks for the details. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, November 25th. Hey, we hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving week, and we want to check in with Tom Ott, who I know ate his fill of Thanksgiving dinner, and he's been trying to fill a few live wells out there too. Tom, what's happening on Guntersville?
Well, I can tell you that, Dano, I think the crappie have taken the vacation week, and the bass, on the other hand, well, we finally got some water moving through this system. We got some rain, got some cooler weather, got some water moving through here, and that's a really good thing. But you kind of get used to certain, the way things are setting up, and then you get some water movement, and I'm telling you, it just kind of moves the fish around. It moves the bait around. Things have changed a little bit, but the bass bite's still very good out there. I'm thinking that A-rig is probably still king. At least that's kind of where I'm set up with. But a little bit cooler water, the jerkbait bite's really starting to pick up, and you can catch a lot of numbers doing that. So I really like that 8-10 foot of water. I think that's the prime thing right now. Just following bait, following birds, slinging an A-rig and a jerkbait.
Is there any other bite? Is there a swim bait bite on the lake? Is there to go just after some individual big ones, or is it
Yeah,
best to go with
absolutely.
the
I think right now for a really big fish, a big swim bait and a little bit deeper water, even some of your tail spins, things like that. If you can find some bigger fish, and a big spinner bait, a spinner bait fish down those river ledges, around some of those stumps or those clumps of grass, that are just positioned on the side of the river channel is a really good tactic for just those individual big bite fish. I've been seeing a lot of big fish caught, and I think that's just going to continue, throughout February. And keep in mind, rattle trap, that bite's really starting to heat up a little bit.
What kind of water temperatures are you seeing out there? And is it definite? Does it stay on the main channels, or do you want to start getting back into those creeks now?
Well, back in the creeks, we're starting to see we're seeing some upper 50s, mid upper 50s. If you get really shallow, you can get a lot lower than that. But, in the deep channel edges and bends and things, we're seeing about low 60, 62 last week. The prolonged nights are going to get that down a little bit more. And I'd like to see it down in the mid 50s anyway. I think that would really heat up that jerkbait bite for sure. And get the crappie a little bit better, conditioned for just sitting on one spot where you can sit there and catch a bunch.
Tom, appreciate everything, man. Thanks. Enjoy your weekend. We'll talk to you again soon, brother.
All right. Well, guys, don't eat too much turkey. Hopefully it's out of your system by now. But pack up some sandwiches, get out there, tie lines.
Well, that'll do it for our Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, November 25th. Thanks to the guys for everything that they do. Hey, don't forget, folks, we're open again on Tuesday, full hours for our wintertime hours. We'll be back in the shop Tuesday through Friday, 8 to 5, Saturday, 8 to noon. Come see us at Bucks Island, whether you're looking for that new boat, whether you're looking for the parts or the service to keep it going, or whether you're looking for that tackle to put a few fish over the gunnels. Thank you for everything that you are. We are thankful for you at Bucks Island. You are the best part of our family. We'll talk to you again next week.